You can be a good guy, a kind guy, even someone who's always available. But if you don't have boundaries, you'll soon become the guy who gets taken for granted. Here's the paradox. Women aren't attracted to ease, they're drawn to clarity. A man who knows who he is, what he wants, and isn't afraid to say no, that's the one they remember. In this video, I'll share 6 boundaries that may seem simple, but they make women remember you. Not because you're playing mind games, but because you're living true to your values. Watch till the end, because boundary number 6 might just change how you see yourself and how she sees you. 1. I'm busy, and that's exactly why she can't forget me. I didn't reply to her message for 3 hours. She asked me if I was still alive. This joke from a software engineer in Silicon Valley may sound funny, but it reveals a deep psychological truth. Women aren't drawn to constant presence. On the contrary, intentional busyness, when you're busy with purpose, makes them curious and more invested. Because in today's world, the most valuable things aren't money, but focus and time. If you can spend your whole day texting back instantly, rearranging your plans at every suggestion, then the question isn't, how much do you love her? It's, what are you doing with your life? A man who respects his own time doesn't rush to every notification, doesn't fear being disliked just because he didn't reply within 10 minutes. He's living a real life with goals, with work, with personal passions. And she isn't the center of it all, but a special part of the journey. That kind of busyness isn't an excuse. It's proof that you have direction, you have value, and you have something for her to step into, not something for her to own. Because smart women don't want to possess an idle man. They want a man who makes them pause Instagram just to think about you. 2. No is the sexiest word, if you say it right. Here's a truth no one teaches you. The word no, when said the right way, isn't just the shortest word in the dictionary of self-respect, it's also one of the sexiest things a man can say. Not the kind of, no, but I'm sorry, or no unless you're mad, but a clear, calm refusal without needing a dozen emojis or long-winded justifications. Because when you say no with composure, you're sending a powerful message. You have principles, a schedule, a life of your own, and you honor it. The man who's always ready to cancel everything for a sudden invitation isn't being gallant. He's being replaceable. But the man who knows when to say no makes her feel like she's dealing with someone grown. Someone whose yes actually has weight, because he doesn't hand it out cheaply. In a world flooded with flattery and reckless over-accommodation, a man who says no without shaking is a rare breeze, the kind that makes a woman stop and think, this one's not like the others. And that difference is often more attractive than looks or money. 3. Being chill all the time isn't always a good thing. In a crowded bar in Chicago, dim lights and music couldn't quite drown out a cutting joke. He thinks he's an alpha male. The comment came straight from his own girlfriend, amid the chuckles of their friends. The guy just smiled awkwardly, still holding his beer like he didn't hear it. But the truth is, he heard every word, and quietly swallowed a cut straight into his pride. That night, it wasn't just the relationship that cracked. It was also his sense of being respected. Too many men think chill means not reacting, just smiling through the jabs to prove they're mature. But the truth is, if you don't stand up for yourself, you're teaching others they can disrespect you without consequence. The right response doesn't need to be anger, shouting, or retaliation. Sometimes it's just a steady look, or a short sentence like, I didn't appreciate that comment in front of others. That alone can reset the dynamic. True composure doesn't mean silently enduring everything. It means calmly standing up for your worth. And in doing so, you don't just keep your self-respect, you start to gain theirs too. 4. Stay calm, and you win the emotional battle. In Los Angeles, people often talk about a girl with a strange hobby, testing men with little teasing comments that carry a hint of sting. One time, she looked at the guy she had just started dating and said, "Why are you wearing a floral shirt? Do you think you're in Hawaii?" Most guys would probably blush from embarrassment, rush to explain themselves, or anxiously ask, "You think it looks bad?" But a smart guy simply smiled and calmly replied, "I know you like boring, but today I'm rebelling." Then casually gave a wink. No overreaction, no defensiveness, no overcompensating. And in that moment, not only did he pass the test, but the girl herself ended up being pulled into the game. Because real attraction doesn't come from appearance. It comes from the ability to control your emotions when faced with subtle provocations. Just like men aren't attracted to people who make them lose their cool, women don't respect men who are easily shaken. Staying calm under pressure isn't indifference. It's a silent message. I'm grounded, I'm solid, and I don't need to prove anything. When a woman realizes you're not easily swayed, she doesn't just find you attractive, she feels safe around you. And that's the beginning of trust, something every relationship needs in order to last. 5. The less you say, the more you're heard. There are times when the more you talk, the more value you lose. Like this guy in New Jersey. When his girlfriend spontaneously invited him to dinner, he spent a whole 45 minutes texting to explain why he couldn't. A Zoom meeting, a sudden task from his boss, a long paragraph complaining about how tired he felt that week, ending with, "I feel so bad. Hope you understand." In contrast, his friend, who got the same kind of invite, simply replied, "Can't tonight, but tomorrow evening works." And guess who got the second date? Not the guy who rambled, but the one who was direct. Because clarity is a form of attraction. It shows that you know what you're doing, you don't need to ask permission to follow your own schedule, and you have no urge to people-please through over-explaining. In psychology, people with authority often speak less, because they understand that value lies in action, not in justification. Attractive men don't need to prove they're busy. They let their life prove it. They don't try to soften their words just to avoid hurting feelings, because they believe the right person will understand, without needing them to twist themselves just to gain approval. And just like that, by saying less, they're heard more, listened to, respected, and invited again. 6. When you live for something greater than love, love finds you. A firefighter in Texas once shared in an emotional conversation, "My wife loves me the most. When I say, I can't stay home tonight, I have a shift to save lives." It sounds paradoxical. Why would a woman feel most loved when you're not by her side? But that's the strange truth of human psychology. When a man lives for something bigger than love, love doesn't disappear. It grows. Women don't want to be your entire world. If they sense that you live for nothing but the relationship, they'll feel suffocated rather than secure. What they really want is to step into a journey already in motion, a train that's already moving, with direction, with mission, not stand forever on the platform waiting for you to start. A man with purpose, whether it's work, passion, or service, radiates a unique kind of power. He doesn't need to say, "I'll do everything for you." Instead, he says, "I'm living a meaningful life, and I'd like you to be a part of it." That invitation, not some overused promise, is what makes her feel truly valued. Love isn't the goal. It's the gift that comes to those who don't abandon their mission just to be loved. And the right woman will love you all the more for it. Conclusion. Boundaries don't make you lose people. On the contrary, they're a quiet filter. removing those who come for convenience and keeping the ones who truly want to stay. When you learn to say no, when you stop sacrificing yourself just to please others, you don't become rigid, you become clear. And that clarity is what creates lasting attraction. Women aren't drawn to perfection, but to a man who holds himself to his own standards. So what about you? Of these 6 boundaries, which one have you practiced or are trying to? Leave a comment. The journey to becoming your most masculine self isn't a lonely one.